Son of a bitch.
Groovy.
Hey everybody, this is Matthew Movies coming at you with my review of Hard Target, the 1993 Jean-Claude Van Damme movie that I think is definitely worth a watch, especially if you're a Van Damme fan or you're an action movie fan or you're a fan of 90s movies or whatever. I think it's worthy of a watch. I don't think it's a great film by any stretch of the imagination, but I've always really enjoyed some of the action in it, and I've always enjoyed the concept of it. It's a story that I've actually seen in many other films, and it's interesting because I don't know if this has ever happened in real life, but if it has, I would love to hear about it. So if you know about it, let me hit me up in those comments and let me know if there's actually any real life instances of this happening. And essentially, if you don't know what I'm talking about, what this movie is about, it stars, like I said, Jean-Claude Van Damme, and he plays a guy who is a veteran who's living on the streets, and he comes across a woman who is looking for her father who's disappeared or died, and it turns out that what happened to her father was that he was hunted by a group of sportsmen who find it entertaining to hunt human beings, and basically that's what they're doing. They're following the streets. They're finding homeless veterans that they think don't have any connections or people that will come looking for them, and they're picking them up and they're setting them free and they're hunting them for sport. And Jean-Claude Van Damme's character helps her throughout the rest of the film, try to track down the people who have been doing this and put an end to it. And they ended up being hunted themselves, and it kind of goes from there. It's an interesting idea because it takes this very thought-provoking concept of people actually hunting one another, and then turns it into much more of a boilerplate action film with Jean-Claude Van Damme doing splits and roundhouses and all that kind of stuff. But I'm a Van Damme fan. I like seeing them doing the splits and the roundhouses, so I'm kind of okay with that. But and like I said before, I don't know if this has ever actually happened in real life where people were found out to have been hunting one another. But it's a fascinating idea, and I don't mean like one guy was trying to kill somebody because he got away and he was a kidnapping gone wrong or whatever, but just for sport, right? So like I said before, if you know of any instances of that, let me know in the comment section below. And when it comes to this movie, I mean, Jean-Claude Van Damme, absolutely, he plays the lead character, and it's very interesting because I feel like when he sat down to make this movie, I feel like he thought, oh, this is gonna be it. This is where I'm gonna be kind of treated like a much more of a serious actor. I'm taking this I'm starring in this movie that has these kind of thought-provoking ideas, and I'm emoting a great deal, and yeah, I'm fighting. I'm definitely using my martial arts skills, but at the same time, I'm taking on much more of a serious storyline, and I don't think it worked out for him in that regard. I think it was much more about seeing him do kicks and punches and using there's bow and arrow aspect of this movie, and it's just very kind of a throwback to those kinds of stories. So it was definitely much more about the action in the end than anything else. But I felt like he was trying to really act his ass off in this movie, and you could tell because throughout the movie he makes a lot of very dramatic looking faces, and he's doing his best, and I think he's decent in the film. I mean, it's definitely not his best acting job by any stretch of the imagination, but he's very entertaining, and of course his martial arts skills are awesome to see on screen as always. So he's definitely a pivotal part of the film, and he's the main draw of the movie. But aside from him, I'd say the actor who I'm the most interested in seeing, aside from him, is Lance Henriksen is the guy who plays the main villain, the leader of the people who hunt down these homeless veterans, and he just seems to be having an absolute ball in this movie playing the bad guy. I mean, he's definitely giving it his all. He commits to the character. He's very over the top evil. Like you could almost see him having a mustache and twisting it. It's that kind of crazy, and like the way he seems to really relish delivering these evil lines, but at the same time, I enjoy his performance in it. I know I've always been a Lance Henriksen fan ever since I saw him in the Alien series, so it was very cool to see him in this flick and see him playing a different kind of character, and I think he does a pretty solid job. Not great by any stretch of the imagination, but he's having a good time with it. And you have Yancey Butler. It's an interesting name, especially for a woman, especially for a female star that, you know, has been in several movies. If you are a film fan, you'll have seen her in other things for sure, and you know, it's very, very cool that she has this name that stands out. But of course, none of that has to do with anything. She's basically the romantic interest throughout a lot of this movie, although she definitely has a much more of an active role than a lot of romantic interests, in that she kind of starts off the entire story because she is looking for her father and trying to figure out what's happened to him. And throughout the movie, I mean, once it gets to the kind of more of the action side, she's much more of a damsel in distress than, you know, than I'd like her to be. She does that. She's not completely useless by any stretch of the imagination, but you know, it's Jean-Claude Van Damme who's really taking them on with a little bit of assistance from her. But you know, I thought her character was interesting. I did enjoy the fact that she is the one that sets the story in motion, and for the large portion of the beginning of the film kind of takes the lead. I mean, once Jean-Claude gets involved and decides to help her, you know, he's kind of pushing things along a lot more than she is, but at the same time, you know, she's not useless by any stretch of the imagination. And she's the one who has the kind of more of the emotional connection to the story. So I thought that was cool to see. I would have liked to have seen her maybe do a little bit more as the film progressed, but I thought she did a good job in the film. And Arnold Vosloo is in this, and you know, forgive me if I pronounced that a little bit off, but I've always thought of him as the guy who played the Mummy in the Brendan Fraser Mummy movies. But he's a great actor. He kills it. He's basically Lance Henriksen's, like, he's his top worker, is his number one sidekick, his lackey, and then he at the same time he's very fearsome. He takes part in these hunts, and he's the guy who's basically there to, if the people who paid to be part of this hunt are not able to do their job and take the guy out, he's essentially the insurance policy that he'll be the guy who takes them out if all else fails, to make sure that their little scheme doesn't get discovered. And I thought it was a solid part of this movie as well. I mean, overall, I think this cast, none of them are remarkable. You know, none of them are given performances that are, you know, worthy of acclaim by any stretch of the imagination, but they all play their parts as written well. And overall, I find this to be an enjoyable film, and again, the concept just absolutely fascinates me. So those are my thoughts on Hard Target. Let me know in the comment section below what you think. If you're a fan of the movie, if you're a Jean-Claude Van Damme fan, if you know of any instances of that actually happening in real life, because I think that might be fascinating to read about. Whatever. Other than that, please hit that like button, hit that share button. It makes it much more likely that other people will find out about this video and come and check it out and let me know what they think, which would be awesome, because I love speaking to people about movies. And speaking of which, if you are one of those people that have just checked out my channel for the first time, or you just haven't done it yet, please hit subscribe, hit that notification bell. That way you can find out when I put out a new video and come and check it out and give me some feedback. That'd be absolutely awesome. Aside from all that though, have yourself a good day.